It is new product time. We're going to zoom through these. We got a lot.
Okay.
All right, first up, we've got this little card.
Oh yeah, this is just a 8 gig MicroSD card. It comes with a adapter for SD for people who wanted a bigger drive than just the 4 gig ones that we carry. Now I have 8 gig.
Yeah.
That's it. Comes with a SD reader too.
Okay, next up, cables.
Splitter cables.
We got cables.
3S cables.
Yeah.
Do you want me to show these on the overhead?
Well, I mean, I think that we have the 2 and 4.
Yeah, we can show them like that.
And they look like underwater creatures. John did some great photos of this.
They're squiddy.
Yeah, so let's go to the overhead.
Go fast. Okay, so this is the oh, hello.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Come on, camera. You could do it.
Go, camera.
Yeah, sometimes when it gets out of focus, you just have to put your hand
I did.
and get it in focus.
That's weird.
There you go. You're all set.
Okay, great. This is a 2-way splitter cable. So it's got a jack on one side, and you can plug in, your 9-volt or whatever, 12-volt power supply into here. And then now you've got 2. And there's this nice molded connector here, and they're nice molded cables, so they're really good. And then we also have a 4-cable version. So if you're like, hey, the 2 cables was not enough, I need more. This has 4 cables, it's a little more expensive. It's got this like big chunky connector, and yeah, it's very handy. These are very handy. I use them all the time, actually.
Yeah.
These and the switchers that we have.
I just like these because for workshops and for students and for educators, these are super handy. Yeah. Because you can have all of the things plugged in while they're doing stuff.
Supply.
Yeah, you just need one power supply.
So you can multiply. And also, if you have a project, you don't have to. You only have one plug.
Do you happen to know what the current rating for these are?
A couple amps.
Couple amps? Okay, that's great news. If you're into couple amps. Okay.
I am.
Yeah. Next up, we've got these super cute EL inverters.
Yes.
These are. I've not seen these elsewhere, Lady Ada.
Yeah, we got these for a project.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with having them. They're very small EL inverters, and so the trade-off is they're very small enough that they can be used for really light wearables, but they can't drive a lot of EL. So maybe we'll show on the overhead.
Yeah.
The amount of EL that they can drive. It's only 50 centimeters. Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
There's my hand. So this is the AAA inverter. So there's a AAA battery inside. Turn this off. And then you can put this back, and then I'll put this on full mode. And so yeah, it'll light up the EL, but it will only run about 50 centimeters, which is about this much.
Yeah, and can I say this for a second? So one of the reasons, because this is one of the things that I wanted to get in the store for a while, one of the reasons that we were stocking this is because for wearable electronics projects, you actually don't want a giant inverter, and you may only need to do like, what if you just wanted like, a very subtle accent on a jacket, or if you wanted, just one thing that goes down the side of, something. Yeah, so this can power a little square, it can power lots of different things, and it's very lightweight. Unlike the big EL inverters, it doesn't make the same noise because it's smaller.
It is smaller.
Yeah.
It is slightly audible. If it was next to your ear, you would notice it.
Yeah, you want to go back to the other
one?
one?
Yeah, I finished.
Okay.
You,
yeah.
You totally grabbed this from me.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this is a 50 centimeter to show you. It can also drive a 10 centimeter by 1 centimeter long EL tape, but I don't have any tape with me here, so you'll have to believe me. And then this is an even smaller one. And these also don't run for very long. They only run for like 3 hours. And this is a coin cell version. And it has a little button instead of a switch. And it's not as powerful, but it can drive also 50 centimeters of EL. And here is the coin cell in there, 20 millimeter diameter coin cell. So it can drive 50 centimeters for a couple hours, not for a long time. If you need a really strong inverter that will run for a really long time, I would suggest the AA inverter. Yeah. This one, though, is good for teeny projects. Like when you really need something that's thin and light.
Yep. All right. And as someone noted, all of these things come in beautiful Adafruit black. When we talk to factories, we have to make sure they get the perfect shade of black, and all of these things are in Adafruit black. Okay. next up, we've got these fun LED ribbons.
Okay, yeah, a lot of little mini light up things showed up today. So yeah, these ribbons are kind of interesting. We have 2 colors of ribbon. They come in multiple LED colors, but we decided to start with white because white kind of goes with everything. So we have white ribbon and black ribbon, and they're also really small. And what was really interesting about this is it's actually a fabric ribbon. So I'll show them the overhead. I think you'll maybe see it pretty easily. So it's actually a fabric ribbon. It's a completely soft fabric ribbon. And then we'll get some close-up photos hopefully on Monday. But there's a little dot of epoxy that covers an SMT LED. And then there's these stainless steel, not really wires. They're basically thread that run, or maybe like a really stranded wire, so this is as a thread, runs along the edge, so it's completely soft and sewable. And then there's a really awesome little battery holder controller, and you press it and they light up, so you have white on white, and then it goes through blink mode, and then it goes through slow blink mode, and then it goes through this sort of like pulsy mode, and then it goes through like, it's either a really, really slow pulse, or it's just like, I think it's half as bright, I don't know, and then off, and then on again. So the battery holder is a pretty interesting design. It comes with 2 little coin cell batteries. You can't really see them, but they're in there. And then you can lift this off, and then you can see there's a switch. And it is possible to cut the ribbon, and then it slides in, and there's a little kind of makeshift clamp that clamps it in place. So if you want, you can cut the ribbon down easily, and if you buy extra battery packs, you can, reuse those pieces. Not too difficult to do, but they don't tell you how to do it in the manual because they're like, that's so complicated. It's like, okay, we'll just like cut the ribbon and you slide it in and you clamp it down. So we have that, and then we also have it with white LEDs on black. And so I think what's really nice about this is because it's so soft and it's also washable. It's not waterproof, but it's washable. Like, don't run it while it's wet, but you can wash it and then dry it off. It's really easy to sew onto anything.
Yeah.
And it's super flexible, so you can wrap it around anything, and it has like, any diameter you want. You can wrap it around something very slim, or sew it to the edge of, shoes or hats or gloves.
Yeah, this is kind of like universal wearable LEDs in an easy to use package.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, very easy to use, and you can see you can kind of do whatever you want with it, and it'll just keep working. So. Super soft and flexible, so this is the Litex. We also have just the battery packs available.
Yeah, so I'll show you the photos of the battery packs.
Okay.
So let's switch to that. So we got just the battery packs if you want them.
Yeah, with the controller, and they come with batteries too. It's kind of nice. We also have batteries in the store if you want more batteries.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay.
All right. Next up, BeagleBone Black was in stock and then out of stock, sold through.
Yeah.
So that came in.
We're gonna get more next week.
We'll have more next week, BeagleBone Black. And with that, we also have an update to our BeagleBone Black case.
Yes, and I can show on the overhead the change. You can also show these photos, show nice photos. We also retook the photos.
Yeah.
Oh, this lovely case.
Yeah.
Paint Your Dragon design.
Why don't you show it on the overhead?
So yeah, it's the same kind of awesome bone-ended case, which is super cute. It's got these bone-shaped end pieces, which are also great because it keeps it off of your table. The BeagleBone, white or black, screws in. You can remove the top. If you loosen this, you can remove the top so you can like put stuff in. You can, it has a bit of empty space in it, so you can fit some electronics, like a proto plate on top. The thing that we have added is it now has an HDMI cutout. So the previous version did not have the HDMI cutout. Now it does, so you can plug in an HDMI, micro HDMI cable. That's the only difference. But we wanted to sell out of the old version, and then we changed over to this new version. So now it's backwards compatible, but also works with the new black with HDMI.
Yeah. And I guess speaking of BeagleBone Black, we've been testing a lot of the Raspberry Pi stuff that we have with BeagleBone Black. What has been your opinion about how the stuff works?
So far, all the stuff I've tested has worked. I've tested the USB console cable. I've tested all of our HDMI displays, and they all work. So our 7 and 10 inch HDMI displays and pixel key displays all work great with Raspberry Pi. Just plug it in and they show up. I don't know if the Raspberry Pi can do 1280 by 700, but it's just down samples. I think it can't do.
The BeagleBone Black.
Sorry, the BeagleBone Black can't. The Raspberry Pi can do 1280 by 800. The BeagleBone Black cannot, but so it just doesn't have its high resolution. But you do get the full.
You get the full screen, yeah.
The screen is just not as high resolution. It just like downsamples it. I'm going to continue trying out more of the parts that we have. A lot of things that are just like, work. Our proto cape from the BeagleBone White still works. Yeah. Okay.
Next up, more big news. Big news. We got the Raspberry Pi Model A.
Modella.
Yeah, and with it being 10% off, it's like less than $25 or something like that. I mean, with everything you get. So, anyways, we have them. They are in stock. They're not going to last long, but we do have the Model A.
Yeah, we have a couple. The thing about the Model A, it does not have Ethernet. I personally, I think the Model A is an interesting idea. It is cheaper.
Lower power.
It's lower power because it doesn't have the Ethernet. Even if you're not using Ethernet, the Ethernet MAC-PHY still draws power. And now it doesn't because it's not even there. It also only has one USB port.
Yeah.
It's slimmer. But it still has all the other connections, GPIO connections. Otherwise, it's the same. I still fancy the Model B, but for those who want a slimmer design, maybe lower power, maybe for portable applications, the Model A will work great.
It's also just a great low-cost way. You don't have to worry about if you put this thing in a high-altitude balloon and it doesn't come back to you.
Yeah.
$25. It's okay.
You have $10 less that you lost.
Yeah. So
now we have that.
So we
and
got
it works with pretty much everything we make.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Next up.
Oh, this we should just show the photos because it's. I'm not going to demo it, but it's basically one of our most popular Maxbotix sonar sensors, the EZ1, which has a pretty good range and it's very high precision. And they actually just tossed an FTDI chip on there, so now it has a micro USB port. If you plug it into a computer, it shows up as an FTDI USB console, and it just spits out the data. I mean, you could also take a console cable and plug it into a normal sonar, and that's not too difficult. But for people who just want like the super easy way to do it, this is the easiest way possible to get distance data into a computer.
Yeah. Oh, skipping back to the Pi for a second. Someone wanted to know, what are the connectors in the middle of the Pi used for?
One of them is the camera connector, and one of them is a DSI TFT connector. They're still working on getting a DSI TFT.
Yeah. And then those are the GPIO.
Yeah, GPIO connectors are still there. And there's also like a JTAG type connector.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's also audio and composite video.
The only thing it doesn't have is it's missing Ethernet port and one USB port. Oh, and it has only 256 megabytes of RAM, not 512.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Okay. Next up. Right about now, we got ePaper.
That's right.
Yeah, so we
have cats in all sizes now.
Yeah,
little
so
cats and big cats.
This is a big deal because there was a bunch of one, it was really hard to do eInk, ePaper stuff, and then there were some crappy versions that were out there, and we're just like, we're not going to stock something that's not good. So we finally have what we think is the best way to get started with eInk stuff. So do your thing, Lady Ada. Yeah.
We also have a tutorial about this in the learning system, which we didn't mention, but there is we now have a wiring tutorial. So yeah, we had the 2-inch, which is what we're showing here, and now we also have the 2.7-inch, which is super mega huge, and also the 1.44-inch, which is super teeny and cute. So I'll show these on overhead.
Yeah. And, one thing, maybe you can explain, what actually is eInk? Because, some folks, they've never heard of this before.
Yeah, so this is the same stuff that's in a Kindle.
Well, and you're going to make sure you talk loud.
So these are very thin displays. They're only monochrome, so you can see how thin the display is. It's super, super thin. And they're full graphics, so you can see there's a cat, and then it has some, text at screen display, and you can inverts it. And these are the same kind of displays that are in eInk readers, like the Kindle. The really cool thing about these displays is if I remove the power, the display still shows what it's showing. So it maintains the image even when there's no power applied, which is much different than like any other display. Very few displays do this. It's also extremely daylight readable. The contrast is very good. There is no backlight, however, so you can't read it in the dark. So that's a trade-off.
Okay.
This is by Pervasive Displays. It's an eInk holding company, so it's actually worked with a company called eInk to make this stuff. And then here is the 1.5-inch version. So this one is much teenier, but it's the idea is that you can have multiple different sizes. The development board that Pervasive supplies is pretty much the same for all of them. It's just how big the display is and the resolution.
Gotcha.
And then these are connected to an Arduino, and they use a piece of SPI flash to take an image off and display it. So the thing about these displays is they have a very high resolution, especially the 2.7 inch, which is like really high res. It's like 300 by 200 pixels, which is or more, no, so usually more than that. It's too much for a Arduino Uno to buffer. You have to buffer the entire display. So if you have a Mega or an ABK or probably a Dewey, we haven't tested on the Dewey, but we know it works with the Mega, you can actually draw whatever you want onto the screen. For an Uno, it can only display these static images that you can load in. So that might be okay if you want to show you have 5 or 6 images you want to go through and show one at a time. You can do that in an Arduino. We're working on a version that will allow you to draw anything you want, like squares, circles, text.
So these can display things besides cats.
Well, this one right now it can only display a cat.
Oh, okay. I thought this was just straight up cats.
Right now it is.
Okay.
But you'll have to check out the tutorial we have in the learning system for how to do that with a Mega, and we'll show more.
How big of a buffer do you need for these to do stuff?
It's like I think you need 4K of RAM, 3K of RAM.
Okay.
So yeah, and Uno only has 2, and you need half.
That's why you need a Mega.
So a Mega can do it, Mega also has extra pins. So yeah, then you can draw. But just be aware that it's ePaper. It's not high refresh. So you need 1 second delay between displays. So it's not meant for fast animations video. Like you can't do that on ePaper. Yeah. But what it's meant for is what e-readers do, where you display a page of text.
Outdoor displays, sun, reading books.
Low power.
Very low power stuff.
A messaging, where you have a message or a display or a poster, and then it doesn't change more than every 2 seconds. So that's the trade-offs. But there's nothing as low power as eInk. It is the most low power display available, and it's very daylight readable.
And then is there any code available for this?
Yeah, it's all, check out the learning system where we have instructions on how to download the Arduino code.
So you're saying that we have an Adafruit learning system that has all this information, all this code, so people can easily get this stuff going?
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. That's what it sounded like.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Cats.
Next up. More big news. The Arduino Esplora is here. It is in our hands. The wait is over.
It's in, I think, Becky's hands.
You do not need to go to Radio Shack, which was pretty much the only other place besides maybe 1 or 2 places. The Esplora is here.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to the overhead. Yeah, I'm going to go back to the overhead.
Okay. Esplora, right about now. We have Esplora. So this is an Esplora.
And actually, Mike in the chat, by the way, really pioneered a lot of the cool stuff going on with it. Watch the show and tell afterwards, and look at all the stuff that he's been posting. But back to Esplora.
Back to Esplora. So the cool thing about Esplora, better lighting. Okay, that's a little bit better. The cool thing about the Esplora is it's this kind of round, happy joystick controller-like board. It's got a at Mega 32U4 sort of Leonardo basically in the middle. It's got an accelerometer. It's got a temperature sensor. It's got a buzzer. It has some LEDs. It has a microphone sensor. It has an RGB LED, and it has 4 buttons, and then an analog joystick and a slider, and then you can maybe plug it in TFT later. And it's kind of like, if you want to do electronics, you just don't do any wiring, this has the most popular stuff that people want to get started with already attached to the board.
Yeah, what's on the back? Someone asked what's on the back.
Just some information. It says Esplora, board model, FCC, made in Italy.
Nutritional values, stuff like that.
Nutritional value, 16 calories per serving. So it's really easy to get started. It even comes with a USB cable, which I don't know where it is anymore. We used it for something else. It has some Tinkerkit connectors for if you want to use Tinkerkit. But yeah, you just plug it in and you go. You know, there's no, you don't have to wire anything up. There's no soldering. There's no connecting. You can get started with buttons, analog, accelerometer, color, images, sound input, buzzer output. Yeah.
And our display fits on there.
Our display does fit on there, not coincidentally probably, but they're probably also going to release a display sometime later. So I have to see if there's so much stuff going on here, but check it out. I think we're one of the first online retailers to have this. It was not available for us to purchase until
Yeah,
now.
they're going pretty quick, and they're 10% off right now, so this might, I don't know if we have any more in stock. We'll see.
Probably have a couple.
Yeah, they were going fast when we were on Friday. All right, so that's the Flora.
Okay.
All right, next up, we mentioned this before. The MakerBots are, we've got, I think, 15 or so left in stock. We got them in. This is the Adafruit edition ones. Comes with the Adafruit plate, all the kits, the watch, all the things, a Raspberry Pi, stuff for you to print out. Right now, it's what's in the background printing
Stuff.
right here. Yeah, this is we actually use.
What is it printing?
This is printing out a.
No, it's a Buddha.
It's a Buddha head.
Okay.
And then we have some other things here. This is our watch. It's our other watch. You know, we have all this stuff that you can print out. And we also have a Minty Boost container. And then there's all these fun things that you can do with.
I'm always scared I'm going to break that.
Oh, it's not gonna break.
It's so scary.
If it breaks, you just print a new one. Fun things with 3D printers.
I'm just always
So-
scared because it's like they look so intricate.
Yeah. So, you know, if I forgot the exact price, but if it's like, you know, $2,500, it's $250 off because it's 10% off, which is a little painful, but but go for it if you guys are really interested. Okay, and then last but not least, this is kind of the star of the show today because this is a new product for us that I think is really cool. This is the Flora color sensor.
Yay!
Ooh,
It's all the coolness of the color sensor we had last week. Now small and round.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a color sensor. We found the awesomest chip to do color sensing. It's got an IR cut filter, so it gives you really good, precise, like what humans think of as color, not just what computers and photo cells think of as color. We put a bright white LED that's a nice neutral color with a MOSFET control, and the chip actually controls the. I did this little hack where I connect the gate of the MOSFET of the LED to the interrupt pin, because like on the floor you don't want to use the interrupt pin anyways. It doesn't matter. So I can actually control the LED through the chip itself. So like it turns on and takes a color reading, and then it turns off the LED.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
you can save power that way. It's a really bright LED because you want to have really good illumination of what you're color sensing.
Yeah, and like in the world of industry, they use color sensors for like determining like if the packaging came out okay, or the side of a box, or if something is ripe or not, or
yeah, this is used for that. It's also used for this can do lux sensing and color temperature sensing, so it can actually tell you like the color temperature of the light around you.
Yeah,
it's really
robotics use color sensors a lot.
But we're going to do it for fashion.
We're going to do it for fashion, yeah. So one of the projects that we're talking about, and we'll have lots of different variations of this, is imagine Lady Ada has a scarf, and the scarf is blue, but, oh, you know, her hair is pink. She would like her scarf to match her hair, so she'll be able to touch the scarf. Her hair is pink, then the scarf starts to glow a different color, it turns pink. So we have a photo. We put a green apple on our little floorboard, and if you look, you could see that the color sensor detected that it was a green apple, and then all the LEDs then turn green.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the overhead. It's hard to see because there's the lights are here.
Yeah,
but we'll still try. Yeah, we have an apple. We also have reds show up really well. So we'll do a couple different ones. Yeah.
Okay, so we have green. Wow, that is really hard to see. It is green, but you can't
Yeah,
really
it's
see
green
it.
just over the webcam. It's hard to see, but red will show up a little bit easier. Yeah,
Yes,
see
this
how red
is
looks.
red.
Yeah.
Shows up really well, and then I also have this is red-handled pliers, and then I have pink. It's actually that's a really good job.
Yeah,
of
you can
finding
also try to do a bluish type thing. And,
blue.
yeah, so
it is blue. It's just hard to tell.
yeah, over webcams it's hard. But anyways, you can check out the photos. Yeah, that's like kind of a nice
You can
blue
see
shade.
the blue on the reflection. It's so bright though.
Yeah.
But yes, this color sensor works really great, and we'll be doing cool projects.
Yeah. How far away can it detect the color?
It can be an inch away, but for the most precise color, you want it right up against it, so
Yeah.
that the light is reflecting right onto it. That's the best way to. If it touches, that's the best way to get the best color sensing I found. Because if it's anywhere above it, there's other light that could come into the sensor, and you don't want that. You want the light that's just bouncing off the object you're detecting.
Okay.
You can only detect one color.
That was new products.